North Melbourne. Good on them. The new Western Australian, they're working in WA. They're FIFO now. They're fly in, fly out team, your boys, the Kangaroos.
FIFO, is that your little thing, is it?
I think it is. I think they're fly in, fly out club now because they're spending 7 home games in Melbourne, 2 in WA. So if you're not across it, they'll play a game at Optus Stadium and a game down south in Bunbury. Beautiful part of the world. Used to live down towards that way. Great spot. They're going to sell a game to either West Coast at home, and then they'll play either Fremantle, if they haven't already, down the following week in Bunbury. So they'll be in Perth or Western Australia for 2 weeks.
Bunbury, have you ever been? I've never been.
Yeah, I have.
Beautiful?
Yeah. It's a nice spot, yeah. Yeah, it is. It's down towards Margaret River as well, all the wineries down there and the breweries. It is actually in Busselton, very nice
You
spot.
assume already it's going to be Fremantle down there, not West Coast?
No.
You're saying West Coast is a bigger club that gets the bigger one at Optus?
No, I'm not saying that.
I feel like that's what
that
you're
wasn't
saying.
a deliberate.
I feel like that's where you're going.
Well, maybe, but they're going to they're going to rotate it through. So it's a 3-year deal, in and around a $2 million per season influx for.
Look, great for the club from a
side.
commercial point of view. I hate it from a football club where if you're a footy club that needs to be selling games, I don't like that at all. On the basis of your fans, your players, all of those type of things. But I get it from a commercial point of view. But if you are a young player, and hopefully this is just over the next couple of years while North are getting their feet back on the ground and becoming a really good club with the list that they've got coming through. But if you're Sheasel and all these boys, you don't want to be travelling to Perth for the next 6 or 7 years.
All right, so here's the trade-off. I think what's going to happen, and is that they'll have a bye after the 2 weeks that they're there, so they'll come back and they'll have a week off, so it'll fit in quite nicely. The timing will be around that. This is perfect for both Western Australian clubs and the AFL. This solves so many issues because there's been talk around this gather round move. We've got the start of the season that's up north in New South Wales and Queensland. So Western Australia were dying for something, and they deserve it in a way because they've got the furthest travel out of all the clubs. So from West Coast and Fremantle's point of view, and the AFL solves so many problems that they've got there, so that's perfect. The trade-off's going to be they'll have the bye. I'm almost certain that'll be the case. But will they have to play an away game in Western Australia over the next 3 years?
It's a very, very good question. I would assumed there would be at least one more that year. They would have to, wouldn't they? This is just a stab in the dark. Yeah, trying to think of the draw off the top of your head is really hard.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't.
Well, it might be the trade-off as you talk about. You get your 2 games over here and you don't have to travel to Perth again, which would be more than fair. But would
it be fair though? Who's it fair for?
Yeah, probably fair for North.
Well, it's great for North.
Yeah.
I don't.
But
know
they're
if
already
it's
doing
fair
it
for
twice.
everyone
Most
else.
clubs are already doing it once, sometimes twice a year. So they're doing their 2. I know it's their home games.
Well, this is the whole point.
Yes,
so
I
it's
get
not.
that.
It's not. So they're playing home games in WA against obviously the WA teams, which is a whole different thing as well. But I don't feel like.
So you're saying, okay, you're selling your games to come over and play. That doesn't give you the right to not come over here and play an away game.
100%.
Yeah, like I said, it's a really hard one off the top of our heads to know if that is the case or not. I would assumed, just the way that the draw works, that everyone flies.
You think
clearly.
at least one more game.
You have
WA
most
for that
teams
year,
have
but I
4
can't
to
see it
5
happening.
interstate games. I would have assumed there would be at least one more.
So realistically, if Fremantle were to play down in Bunbury, I'd imagine them hosting Fremantle at some other time of the year at Optus. Surely. They'd have to.
You'd think.
I don't reckon it will happen, though. I reckon the AFL will smooth that over and it won't happen.
So they've got 7 games in Melbourne,
Yeah.
North Melbourne.
So there are a couple in Hobart. So obviously that's coming to an end, the Tasmanian excursion.
Is that next year, or was that happen when